Welcome back. Now that you have, gotten a sense of what it takes to actually build your practice, and we've set some outcomes, some goals, let's get into even deeper module 1 of this course. Let's talk a bit more about your foundation. So first of all, as promised, here's how to use this site. Upon your registration, your course begins. What that means to you is it doesn't matter when you register, but at that point, there's going to be weekly lessons that are revealed to you on a weekly basis. And the course is divided into 5 modules. And each module is divided into those weekly lessons and tasks. And the weekly lessons and tasks are revealed to you a week at a time. The templates, and when I say templates, I mean, contract templates and feedback templates, and those will be referenced throughout the course. These are templates that have, frankly, caused me plenty of blood and treasure to craft over the years. They, some of them, in the case of the contract, is they've been vetted by multiple attorneys from multiple different disciplines, specialities, and also just templates that I've crafted to assist you in turning your practice into a business. Could be as simple as a sign-up sheet. Could be as detailed and as important as a client contract. If you have any questions along the way, well, use the contact form on this site, please. Now, I may not respond to you immediately. Please give me a few days, perhaps even give me a week. But I do want you to ask questions. I love your questions. Your questions will only serve not only you, but also others following you. Having said all of that, here's how to get the most from this course. Here's what you will need to succeed. First, time. Let's talk a bit about time. You need to commit to spending at least 4 hours a week on this course. Now, that doesn't mean that, if you can't do that, you're not going to be successful. What that does mean is that if you want to be successful in the amount of time that we've talked about, then this will increase your probabilities for that. Now, the truth is, you can, take as much time as you want. You can download these videos, you can, renew for the course or whatever it may be. But, if you want to really accelerate integrating your purpose and your prosperity, commit to spending at least 4 hours a week on this course. And stay on pace with the course. And what that means is complete the task assigned as soon as possible. And I recommend you actually carving out some time in your calendar, actually scheduling time in your calendar for you to work on your business, for you to work on this course. Schedule your weekly login for your new lesson. Now, whenever you logged in the first time, perhaps today, go ahead and schedule a follow-up login for a week from now, 7 days from now, whatever now is for you, because that's when the next lesson will be revealed to you. And then schedule 4 to 6 hours a week to work on your business. Now, there's a distinction there between the course and the business. But really, if you want to take your business to the next level, or if you really want to get rid of whatever business you're in currently, and you want to do this full time, or let's say you just want to, really take your current business, which is already supporting you in the holistic or coaching business, to the next level, you go ahead and schedule 4 to 6 hours a week to work on your business. Now, that's really only 25 to 50 minutes a day. I'm sure we can all relate to how much time we've wasted a day, whether that's, maybe that's simply on the train. Maybe you didn't waste the time, but you've got transit time. you could download this and listen to it on your mobile device, or that one television show that you don't need to watch, or whatever. So that's the time aspect in terms of what you will need to succeed. Let's talk about some resources, additional resources you will need, and some of which I will supply for you, of course, but let's talk about additional resources. First, I would encourage you to get a practice partner. There's going to be a lot of exercises as we progress together, and you're simply going to need a practice partner. Whether that's when we get to sales, or whether that's you trying out your newly minted coaching distinctions, or whatever it may be, you're going to want a practice partner. There's also going to be required reading and audio resources. Now, the audio resources are going to be included for you. The required reading I'm going to suggest to you. And then, I would also suggest you get an accountability partner, whether it's somebody else who's purchased this course, or whether it's somebody who can simply hold you accountable, and somebody who you respect each other. You're not close friends, so there isn't that latitude, but you're actually going to hold each other accountable so you can stay on task. Think of it as a friendly coach, or somebody who's interested in your success and whose success you're also interested in. Let's talk about the required and recommended reading. Here are a few books that I'm going to strongly encourage you to go on Amazon.com at the end of this video and purchase. First, NLP, the New Technology of Achievement. This will assist you in understanding many of the things that I will lead you through in the personal work module, the next module, and simply assist you in so many ways in managing your own mind. Next is the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. Most of you have probably already read some of what I've written around self-esteem, but I do think that self-esteem is the most important aspect of your own personal development, and there's no escaping your own personal development if you want to be in this business. And the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem by Dr. Nathaniel Branden is perhaps the foremost work, the most respectable work, the most important book on self-esteem you'll ever read. Next is 50 scientifically proven ways to be persuasive. Next would be the Portable MBA, written by some people who've taken the Stanford MBA program and realized that most of what was learned in those courses is not very useful. Some of it is useful. And they distilled it all into that book, The Portable MBA. Now, there are a lot of versions to that, so I would encourage you to get the original, The Portable MBA. I think there are more contextualized versions. You want to get the first book, but the newest edition of that first book, The Portable MBA. Tactical Transparency, which is a wonderful book. It will teach you how to use social media. Taking Responsibility, Self-Reliance, and the Accountable Life, which is a wonderful book by the same author as the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, that I just found. I was just quite taken with the book, honestly, and it's just a wonderful little book. And he goes into more spiritual aspects of self-esteem. Now that we've covered the books, there's some audio that I'm going to recommend that you listen to along the way. And the audio is already included. It's included in this site, in the resources section. But just to cover it quickly for your benefit, there is going to be a outcome inevitability audio recording a series of recordings. There's also a product on presentation skills there for your benefit. And then Evolutionary Sales in its, most nascent form. It's a very old version of Evolutionary Sales, and it's also a version that was, it was recorded in a series of inspired sessions. So I've been reticent to re-record it. Now, this audio, it's, recommended. It'll be referenced throughout. It's also free to you with your purchase of this course. So it's in the resources section. It's there for you to listen to as you like and when you like. Next up is your relationship to the material. And this might actually be the most important aspect of it. Your relationship to the material and your relationship to yourself as you move through the material. So let's talk a bit about that. First, let's talk about your relationship to yourself and the organizing principles. And this also covers your relationship to the material. So what are organizing principles? Principles are around which you organize your thoughts, your actions, your behaviors, and underneath or within every single thought you have an action that you take lies some organizing principle. And the idea that I use to distinguish this is that every human is a philosopher. And the question is, are you an effective one or not? So, I hope to make you a slightly more effective philosopher, at least for your own life, in this course. I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't. We cannot skip over the personal work. God, I wish we could. And we'll get into the why and the how of that in the next module. But what's important is for you to ask, are your thoughts serving you? And in what way? And to what degree? So I've included some mindsets in the template section and some organizing principles. And they will assist you in your learning and your integration. They'll also assist you in your emotional ease around this entire experience, this course, and around this process. In essence, mindsets to assure your success. You'll find them on the site in the training materials section. But here are 3 to get you started. And by the way, there's probably a couple of dozen in the organizing principles document. But here are 3 to get you started, get you on your way. First, this is a process, not an event. And secondly, the only useful comparison is to compare yourself to yourself through time. Now, we all know that many people compare themselves to others, the whole keep up with the Joneses thing. And everybody knows that does not really work. And there's a couple of ways to do that. One, you can either compare yourself to another and go, oh, I'm so much better than them. And you get this short-term ego pump that doesn't really serve you. Or you can look at somebody who's much better off than you are, much more skilled than you are, much more intelligent, and go, oh my gosh, I'm so horrible, I'm not as good as them. And you'll always find somebody who's better than you or not as good as you in those contexts, more skilled, more or less beautiful, more or less fit, more or less skilled, etc. And it's frankly, I'm about to curse, but it's a mind fuck that you cannot possibly get through. Now, what you can do is you can compare yourself to yourself through time. And that's a true way to measure your success. It's also evidence of integral thinking. But there's a murkier comparison that a lot of people don't realize. And it's a way of comparing yourself to other. But the other is actually a fantasy you. I should be X, Y, and Z. It's some version of yourself that you made up and that you're comparing yourself to. It's a bit of an, your self-concept. And that's one that's far more subtle, far more insidious. So watch out for that one as well. But the only useful comparison is to compare yourself to yourself through time. And finally, knowledge is not skill. Knowing does not equal skill or capacity. Skill, frankly, takes practice. It takes practice, practice, practice. Now, there are things you can do to accelerate your strategies to learn. There are ways you can model people who are more effective. You don't have to learn it the hard way. And there are certain things that simply take practice. So before we get to your tasks for this week, I think it will serve you if I speak for a few minutes on some of the aspects of this course, both the structure of the material as well as the pace. So first, let's talk about the pace of the course. The course is paced intentionally to be a stretch for you. To avoid overwhelming you. Of course, I have to use midlines and averages and go with the bulk of students and how they have worked in the past. And some of you may want to go at a slower pace, and a few of you may want to go at a faster pace. And most of you should find the pace just perfect, just right, and if only a little challenging. My sole intention behind the pace of the course is to make sure you actually get the benefit of the course that's actually changing your life and your business. And what's behind all of this is if it becomes another book that you read, another product you bought, another seminar you went to and yet never implemented, or you implemented it and it didn't last very long, it faded. If that happens, then I have failed. Of course, the responsibility for you using the material lies with you. And I will do whatever I can to assist you. And the pace of the course is designed for exactly that. To assist you in integrating fully all the learnings. So now let's talk about the structure of the material. Some of the material may seem to be in a strange order to you. For instance, we cover marketing and interacting with clients after the sales model. Sounds kind of weird. You may think this is backwards, and after all, you need a prospective client to use the sales system on before you can use it. And there are reasons for that. But I want you to know that several things went into the order of the course and the design of the course. Not just the logical order things would go in an actual business scenario, but several things went into the order of the course, the design of the course. First of all, how much time it takes to learn something. And secondly, when in the process you will need it. In other words, at what point. But also what makes the most sense from a business perspective. What makes the most sense from a psycho-spiritual perspective. But also feedback from clients in the past. And my intuitive sense after 20 years of experience in the game of personal evolution. Now, there's also just this sense that, I'm going to teach you a lot of skills and a lot of approaches, and then we're going to have to put it all together before you actually get a live client prospect in front of you. So what I'm going to encourage you is to actually relax into the process. The structure of the material is intentional, it's well designed, and I'm always open to feedback. But please do trust in the process. Let's talk about the material itself. You may be in any one of three basic groups. First, all of this is new and revolutionary to you. You're just amazed at all of it. Or perhaps there's a mixture of, familiar material and revolutionary material. Or, maybe a lot of it's, familiar, but a few revolutionary ideas or items make a huge difference in your business. So let's cover each of these. Let's say that everything is new and revolutionary to you. If you're in this group, it will be especially important for you to keep pace, stay on task and on top of things. If you're in the second group, well, be sure to have beginner's mind, so you're careful not to arrogantly miss the one nugget in the familiar that can make a huge difference for you. I would encourage you, even if you think you know what I'm talking about or what we're talking about at some point, that you actually make sure, look for the difference rather than how it's the same. Additionally, you can use those more familiar weeks to catch up with anything you may have been behind on in terms of the pace of the course, or to get ahead on the reading, or any of the included audio resources. And in the third group, as if it's, mostly familiar, but there's some revolutionary items that'll make a huge difference in your business. If you're in this group, you already know that one good idea can mean a difference of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars in your increased business if that idea or that concept or that distinction is well implemented. I trust you'll be engaged enough to make sure you collect all those nuggets. I am, of course, positive that if you're in this group, you know the value of investing in products and implementing what you learn. So in the off chance you are familiar with it, but just have not integrated it and put it into practice, excellent. Keep on pace with the course. Now is your chance to do so. So seize the opportunity. Seize the opportunity. So those are the basic mindsets, the basic foundation. And now let's get into your tasks for the week. First, go and buy the books on Amazon.com or wherever you like to buy books. But just make sure that you buy all of the books that were listed this week. If you bought them all new at the most expensive bookseller, it's still going to cost you under $100. And they will be worth a lifetime of learning and integration for you. Second, acquire a practice partner. Just simply ask somebody. Tell them, hey, I'm doing this course. Will you be willing to be a practice partner for me in the coming weeks as I learn to integrate these skills? And third is download and read the Organizing Principles document over and over and over again. Put them out, post them, and I encourage you to reread them weekly. And here's why. Even if you think you understand all of them, in a few weeks you'll actually read them and understand them differently, from a different perspective. Because you're different. You'll be deeper. You'll be more open. You'll have different perspectives. You'll be more complex. And begin to listen to Evolutionary Sales, the original, very raw version that was recorded, way back in 2005. And you can find it there, the website, and then once you're logged in, the resources, and then audio. But most importantly, print out the outcomes. And if you wrote them on a pad and paper, type them up. Print them out in a way that it's appealing to you, and post them up. Refer to them often, and notice yourself, even now, imagining them as an emerging reality. Imagine them becoming a reality now. And know that you have just begun. You've just begun your path. You've just begun turning your practice into a business. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to contribute to you. And as you know, I'm Jason McClain, your host here and your guide in the 21st century marketplace. And I look forward to speaking with you and guiding you next week.